Shalom, Yahweh Bashim, Yahweh Shabbarakatha. To all my brothers, Yahweh Shemal Latha Bashim, Yahweh Shad, all my sisters. Bear with me 1 second as I get things in order. You know what I'm saying? I got to share the class, so forth and so on. You know what I'm saying? Got to get things rocking. So bear with me 1 sec. And if you have any questions, type them on in. You know what I'm saying? Type them on into the chat. I will be able to see them. I will be able to see all questions. You know what I'm saying? Because I know we all don't know the scriptures 100%. You know what I'm saying? That's what brotherhood is for. You know what I'm saying? Something that you don't know, another brother might actually do know. And if I don't know it, I know somebody who might. You know what I'm saying? So type all your questions in the chat. Shalom, Trip. What's going on? Type all your questions in the chat. If you got any questions, type them on in. Don't forget to share. You know what I'm saying? Share this class. Get your share on. That's highly important. Salakia. Any questions, type them on in. You know what I'm saying? We're going to go over some basics. You know what I'm saying? We ain't even going to keep it too complex. We're going to go over some milk scriptures. Go over some milk because, you know what I'm saying? Without milk, a baby can't grow. And we all need that milk. You know what I'm saying? We all need that milk. You know what I'm saying? So we can get stronger in this truth. A lot of brothers could fall out because they don't have that milk. A lot of brothers could fall out because they want to go into deep waters and they can't even swim. So what I'm asking you, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Tonight's class is definitely about brotherhood. And I'm going to keep it as milky as possible. You know what I'm saying? Share this out. Let's see if Boston could love one another. You know what I'm saying? Because Boston been bugging out in these streets lately, man. The city of Boston is running out of control. You know what I'm saying? The crime rate has never been as high as it has been as of recent. You know what I'm saying? The crime rate in Boston is on a whole nother level, and it's only on that level because we have no brotherhood. We have no love for one another. That is the problem with Boston. That is the problem with Massachusetts altogether. You know what I'm saying? We love our enemies. We love our oppressor more than we love each other, which is truly the problem with Boston. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to get into it. You know what I'm saying? We're going to give y'all a couple more seconds to get some questions in. You know what I'm saying? There ain't no questions. I'm going to get into it. But as of right now, I'm going to continue sharing real quick. No, I haven't been on Facebook in a long time, but I'm in like a whole lot more other groups than I ever been in. I think cats are just posting me up, you know what I'm saying, in their groups. But all right. I did all the shit I'm going to do on that page. You know what I'm saying? I ain't going to share on every page, but I did all I could do on that page. So let me start the class. Shalom, Yahweh Bashim, Yahweh Shabbarakatah to all my brothers, Yahweh Shema Latha Bashim, Yahweh Shad all my sisters. This is the Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge. You know what I'm saying? It started out at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander General Yohana. And what we do is we teach the Black, Hispanic, and Native people that they are God's true and only chosen people. And with being God's true and only chosen people comes with a responsibility to love each other as the law has dictated. And when you love each other as the law has dictated, that is called brotherhood. You know what I'm saying? Anything outside of that is literally hatred. Anything outside of that is literally you hating your brother, is you selling drugs, is you sleeping with another brother's woman, is you know what I'm saying, killing your mother, your brother, your sister, you know what I'm saying? Everything outside of that is just chaos. So we're going to get into it. We're going to go with 1 John 4:21. Keep it as milky as possible. You know what I'm saying? 1 John 4:20. Should I go a little higher? All right, let's start with 15. Let me type that in the chat real quick. So y'all know where we at. We in 1 John 4:15. You know what I'm saying? If you have any questions on these scriptures as I'm bringing them out, you could definitely type that in, and we would talk about it. You know what I'm saying? We get your questions answered. All right. I'll give y'all a second to get there. 1 John 4:20. 4:15. And believe me, I'm going to encourage you all to read this whole chapter. Read this whole chapter to get a full synopsis on loving one another. This is a glorious chapter right here. But I'm going to get with it. You know what I'm saying? 1 John chapter 4, verse 15. Whosoever shall confess that Yahushua, aka who you all ignorantly call Jesus, is the Son of God. God dwelleth in him, and God in him. What does that mean? God dwells in him. You know what I'm saying? What does that mean? And he in God. What does that mean? Does that mean they are the same? Does that mean they are the same? No, it doesn't. God dwells in Christ because Christ follows God's laws. And because he followed God's laws, God loves him to the point that he dwells in God. You know what I'm saying? And God dwelleth in him. You know what I'm saying? That's what's beautiful. That's called brotherhood. You know what I'm saying? I want to get into that a little deeper too as we go through these scriptures. But let's continue. And we have known and believed the love that God hath to us. God is love. Now, and we have known and believed that the love that God hath to us. Now, we have known and believed the love that God hath, because these brothers back then, they were following the law, statutes, and commandments. So they understood what love is. Nowadays, we don't understand what love is. We think love is a good feeling. We think love is some type of chill and excitement. You know what I'm saying? But love is actually a responsibility. And they recognize that responsibility. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's read that from the top again, verse 16. And we have known and believed the love that God hath to us, because God has a responsibility to us, but we have a responsibility to God. The only person that has been breaking those responsibilities are the Israelites. God kept his responsibility to us. God kept his responsibility to us to the point that he literally put his only begotten son, who has not broken that responsibility to him, and killed him for us. So we could get another chance to get in line. So we could have a time so we could start acting right. That's something that most people will not understand. You know what I'm saying? But let's continue. Verse 17. Wherein is our love made perfect, that we may have boldness in the day of judgment. See, that's how you have boldness in the day of judgment. When you know that you loved your brother, you know that you loved your sister, you know that you loved your people more than you love yourself. See, that's the responsibility of a prophet. That's the responsibility of a priest of God. All the problems that we may have, we put to the side so we could deal with yours. That's what we do every Saturday. We go out there and we come out to teach the people, putting away all our responsibilities, putting away all our problems, putting away all our lusts and all our desires to come teach the people. Not many people are willing to do that. You know what I'm saying? Not many people are willing to put their people first. You know what I'm saying? And when you do that, you have a boldness to say that you did what God wanted you to do. You know what I'm saying? Well, let's continue. Because as he is, so are we in this world. Because that's what Christ did. Christ put away all his love, his lust, his desires, his responsibilities. He put them all away to take care of the church, to take care of the people, to take care of his nation. And he put his life on the line and lost it just so we can, you know what I'm saying, just so we can smoke crack, so we can, you know what I'm saying, sleep with another man's woman, so we can, you know what I'm saying, do all types of heinous acts to each other. No. He did it so we can love each other correctly as he has taught us to. That's why he did it. Christ died so we could have a time to learn to love each other properly. And that's what us in the ISUPK is trying to teach our people. How to love each other properly. You know what I'm saying? And with that, let's continue. Verse 18. There is no fear in love, but perfect love casts out fear. There is no fear in love. What does that mean? There's no fear in love. If you're in the class, type it in. What does it mean there's no fear in love? Because a lot of people are petrified nowadays when they claim they love somebody. They claim that person going to, you know what I'm saying, cheat and bring home some disease and all that. Why is there no fear in love? If you love someone, why don't you fear? Let me explain. Fear comes in when you know you did something wrong. Fear comes in when you know something's against you. Something's coming after you that you're pretty sure you cannot defeat. If you can defeat it, you won't fear it. So when you break God's laws, there's fear. And guess what? When you're breaking God's laws, there's no love. You know what I'm saying? There's no love when you're breaking God's laws. What do I mean? Okay. Let's put an example like this. You claim that you love God, you follow God's law, statute, commandments, and you out in the club and you link up with a East Indian girl, right? You link up with an East Indian girl. Next thing you know, y'all on dates, everything's feeling good. And now it's time to meet her parents. Are you going to go into that fearlessly? Because if it's a black woman, you will go into it fearlessly. You know why? Because y'all are the same nation and you're not breaking any of God's laws. Interracial relationship is a breaking of God's laws. So when you go to meet her family, there's fear. There's fear. You don't know how they're going to react. You don't know how they're going to accept you. You know what I'm saying? Especially when it comes, let's say if it's a white woman, you don't know if you're going to get lynched that same day. You don't know. When you're breaking God's laws, there's fear behind it. That's why there can be no love. You know what I'm saying? So let's read that again. There is no fear in, 1 John chapter 4, verse 18. There's no fear in love, but perfect love casts out fear. What's perfect love? Perfect love is when you're following God's laws. Perfect love is when you are following God's laws to the T, and you know God got your back in every situation. When you're not following God's laws, you don't know. And you're a little shaky. You're a little shaky. You start believing that, you know what I'm saying? Anything and everything is possible. You know what I'm saying? You believe that you can run to the edge of the earth and fall off of it when you're not following God's laws. Your mind's not stable. You know what I'm saying? You believe all types of Looney Tune stuff because you're not following God's laws. You believe God is against you. I'm going to keep it frank. You're not following God's laws, God is against you. And he could take you out any way, in any which way possible. He could give you $1 million. The next thing you know, you're a crackhead dead. You know what I'm saying? God don't have to take you out in the way that you think get hit by a truck or getting shot. You know, no. God could take you out in something that you actually believe to be a blessing. Because you wasn't following his laws and you wasn't loving your people as he dictates for us to love our people. You know what I'm saying? But let's continue. Because fear hath torment. He that feareth is not made perfect in love. Fear definitely torments. Fear torments. You know what I'm saying? You at home thinking this and thinking that, all types of fears coming across your mind. You know what I'm saying? Next thing you know, boom. You're not perfect. You know what I'm saying? Because you are fear. See, if you follow God's laws, put like this. You're in love with this woman, right? Let me give you an example. You're in love with this woman. You are dating this woman. You are sleeping with this woman. And the thing is, you know this woman has a man. You know this woman has a man. You know you're committing adultery. And now you're in fear every time you go over there to, you know, to lay pipe that her husband may pop out any second and kill you. Any second and kill you. You know what I'm saying? You may think you love her, but no, he's going to kill her too. So your love is not perfect. Because if you truly loved her, you would let her go. You would not deal with her. You would never have laid with her. You would deuces. Sister, what you're doing is wrong. Stay with your husband. If you truly love that woman, you will let her know that what she is doing is against God's laws. That's what you would truly let her know. Because you want her to live. You don't want her husband getting jealous and killing her. If you truly loved your people, you will not sell them drugs. You will not be a drug addict because you truly love your people. Let's explain why. Because if you truly love them, you know what I'm saying? You selling drugs because you believe you could come up. You believe that you could solve your problem. You got children to feed as they're getting a 9 to 5 at McDonald's. McDonald's is paying more than a lot of minimum wage jobs now. But you thinking that you can't do better. So now you selling drugs. Now you got to worry about other cats taking over your spot. There's so many fears with selling drugs. I don't even got to explain. I'm pretty sure most of y'all already know what it is. You know what I'm saying? Now you got to go through all this and all that. And you claiming that you love your children? If you loved your children, you wouldn't sell drugs. You know why? Because you know your children need you. You know your children need you. So you risking your life or your freedom puts them at risk. Because you want to get them the newest pair of Jordans. Think about it for a second. You selling drugs to make sure your kids are fresh and clean on the streets, right? At least that's what you claim. We all know that's not true. But that's what you're claiming, right? So you get arrested. What happens to your kids? Are they still going to be fresh and clean? Because I'm pretty sure the baby mother's going to find another man. He might be a drug dealer too that hates your guts. It's probably an op, or it's probably your best friend. And that's going to lead to your kids getting molested, raped, whatever. It's going to lead to your kids having a whole bunch of other issues because you love them so much you sold drugs for them. Does that make sense? That's not perfect love, because if you loved your kids, you would do whatever it takes to stay in their life. Do whatever it takes to stay in their life. Even if you're doing drugs, it's the same thing. If you're doing drugs, you will do whatever it takes to keep a sober mind and take care of your children properly. You know what I'm saying? Make sure that you stay in their life because, you know, doing drugs can get you locked up too. Doing drugs could put you in a whole situation where you could die too. The risk of doing drugs and selling drugs is not much different. But you claim you love your kids. So you need to relax before you deal with them. That's not love made perfect. There's no brotherhood in that. You know what I'm saying? But let's continue. Verse 19. We love him because he loved us first. That's damn right. We love Christ because Christ loved us first. How we know Christ loved us first? Because Christ proved he loved us first. He proved he loved us first because he gave his life for us. What have we done for Christ? What have we done for the Most High? What have we done for our kids? What have we done for anybody? We only love God because God loved us first. We only love Christ because Christ loved us first. We only love our kids because our kids loved us first. We only love everybody because we are selfish. You got to prove to me you love me. It's a long road we fighting here. It's a long road we fighting. Verse 20. If a man say, I love God and hateth his brother, what type of man says, I love God? Ask yourself that question. What type of man says he loves God? Interesting question, right? Right. Let me tell you the type of man that says he loves God. Every man. Every man says he loves God. Does every man love God? We're going to find out if every man loves God. You know what I'm saying? So let's read that back from the top, verse 20. If a man say, I love God and hateth his brother, if a man says he loves God and hateth his brother, how do you hate your brother? By not following God's laws. You're selling drugs, you hate your brother. You hate your sister. You hate your mother. You hate yourself. You know what I'm saying? Sleeping with another man's woman, you don't love your brother. You hate him. You know what I'm saying? You watching porn, you don't love your brother. You hate him. You know what I'm saying? You out there on OnlyFans, you don't love your brother. You hate him. Because if you love each other, you be following God's laws. So since you don't love each other, guess what? You don't love God either. You don't love the Most High either. It's just that simple. You out there doing whatever lust and pleasure you have. You living YOLO, trying to live your best life. You know what I'm saying? And next thing you know, you're in jail or somebody else is dead. You know what I'm saying? Because you needed to smile. Because you needed to feel good. Because you needed to be happy. That's the problem with our people. We need to understand that emotions come and go. Emotions are not a permanent thing. They mean nothing. If you can't put the world before yourself, you don't love nobody. You don't love God. You can't put your nation in front of yourself. You don't love God. It's just that simple. If a man say, I love God and hateth his brother, he is a liar. That's the type of man he is. He is a liar. And it should be clear to y'all that he's a liar. They'll probably call them all types of hypocrites and everything already. You know what I'm saying? He is a liar. You can't love God and hate your brother. It's just the way it is. And if you claim you love God and hate your brother, if you claim you love God and selling drugs, if you claim you love God and doing drugs, if you claim you love God and you on OnlyFans showing your tail, you claim you love God and you on a stripper pole, if you claim you love God and doing all types of madness, guess what? You don't. You're a liar. You're a liar, and that's about as simple as it gets. You can claim you love somebody all you want, but if you're not following their commandments, then you don't love them. It's just that simple. But let's continue. For he that loveth not his brother whom he hath seen, how can he love God whom he hath not seen? You've seen your brother. You've seen the hell that he goes through. You've seen the world of pain that he's in. You know it, because you know why you know it? Because you're going through it too. You know what I'm saying? You got to go to court. He got to go to court. You can't get a job because of a Corey. He can't get a job because of a Corey. You know what I'm saying? His baby mama causing him hell. Your baby mama's causing. You know that, brother, because he is you. How you gonna say you love God and you never seen God? You don't know nothing about him. You don't know nothing about God. How can you say you love God? How? But you know the hell that brother's going through. And you want to cause him to go through more hell? You think it because I'm broke. But my brother over here sitting with only $40. He only got $40 to his name. So I'm gonna steal his money just so I can come up. That's no. No, you're a liar. You don't love God and you don't love your brother. You've seen the struggle he's going through, and you still look to take care of yourself above him. That's gross and that's disgusting. But let's continue. Verse 21. And this commandment have we from him. We have this commandment from Christ. Christ is the one telling us to love one another. You know what I'm saying? And that's how it's supposed to be from the beginning. You know what I'm saying? But let's continue. That he who loveth God, love his brother also. If you love God, you're going to love your brother also. That's how the whole point of the law is for. If you love God and you follow God's instructions, guess what? That love is going to be automatic. Because guess what God's laws is? God's laws is literally for us to love one another. God's laws is for us not to eat pork, right? Know why he don't want to see pork? Because it causes all types of health issues. You know what I'm saying? God's laws is, you know what I'm saying, not to sleep with another man's woman. Know why he told us that? Because that man could go in a jealous rage and kill you and that woman and probably himself too. We seen that in the news too. You know what I'm saying? What else is God's laws? God's laws is, you know what I'm saying, don't sleep with another man. Homosexuality is a sin. You know what I'm saying? Why is that a sin? Because the simple fact is you are causing confusion and disturbance amongst your people. And not just that, you are causing pain to that other man. You're putting your rod in his backside as if he's mentally there to accept it. He's not yet effeminating another man. He's not there for that. That's not what it's supposed to be. So how can you love God and you practicing homosexuality? How can you love God if you practicing pedophilia? How can you love God if you're stealing from one another, killing one another, sleeping with each other's women? You know what I'm saying? How can you love God if you're doing those things? You can't. You know what I'm saying? You absolutely can't. Let's go on to the next scripture, Matthew 25. My bad. Pressing wrong buttons. But let's start with 32. Matthew 25 and 32. We're going to be going through, I think, about 40. Give y'all a second to get there. This is the first book in the New Testament. All right, if you're there, you're there. All right, Matthew chapter 25, verse 32. And before him shall be gathered all nations. Listen, this is talking about before Christ, before God, and when God returns. All nations going to be gathered before him. You know what I'm saying? All nations are going to be gathered together for judgment. You know what I'm saying? And he shall separate them one from another. You know what I'm saying? He's going to separate the nations. Y'all believe in all love. You know what I'm saying? The world is one. See, that's the problem with black people. It's only us that believe that too. Not every nation believes we are the world, we are the children. No, only black people believe that. Only black people as a whole believe we are one. I bleed red, you bleed red. Guess what? Roaches and dogs and rats bleed red too. Should we count them as one? Nah, we shouldn't. But let's continue. And before him shall be gathered all nations, and he shall separate them one from another, as a shepherd divided his sheep from his goats. So they're going to be separated. Two categories: sheep, goats. You know what I'm saying? Sheep, goats. Separation. Y'all believe God is all about unity, but he's telling you right here, he's going to be separating nations. Not individuals, nations. That's something that y'all got to grasp your head around. Nations are going to be separated. So let's continue. Verse 33. And he shall set the sheep on his right hand and the goats on the left. So he shall separate the sheep on the right hand and separate the goats on the left. That's how the Most High is going to do it. So he's separating one on the left, one on the right. You know what I'm saying? There's a purpose for each one of them. They are no longer together. So let's continue. And the king, and then shall the king say unto them on his right hand, Come ye, blessed of my father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundations of the world. Who are these sheep? He's saying to the sheep, only one group of people is called the sheep, and that's the children of Israel. That's the children of Israel. We are the sheep. The Most High is showing us such brotherhood right now. He is giving us the nation. He's giving us the world in this scripture. He's showing us supreme brotherhood right now. Let's bring that back from the top. Verse 34. Then shall the king say unto them on his right hand, come, ye blessed of my father. Who is the king? Who is the king? Let me trip you all up a bit. Remember, we are reading red right now. We are reading red words. These are Christ's words. Christ is saying these words right now. Who is the king? For the sake of time, let me tell you who the king is. The king is Christ. The king is Christ. And he's telling you, we are going to be saying, like, listen, then the king shall say unto them on his right hand, come, ye blessed of my father. He's telling them, who is blessed of God? You know, a lot of nations call it blessings, but who is the ultimately blessed? Who is the chosen of God? Who is his favorite? Israel. Let's continue. Inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. So that means it's going to be a time where we get to get into the place where we rightfully belong if we follow his laws from the beginning. This is going back to the covenant. This is going back to the covenant of God. This is what was promised to us from the foundations if we started following the law, statute, commandments. Now he prepared that spot for us. See, what you got to do is start. If you want your spot in this place, because we're going to get it regardless. If you want your spot, you got to start following these law, statute, commandments. So you could just fall with the heathens. Remember, only 1/3 of us is going to make it. 2/3 is going to fall to the heathen. You know, I wish they would not, but 2/3 will fall. You know what I'm saying? Since 2/3 of us will fall, only 1/3 of us is going to get the kingdom. How do we get it? By following Christ's laws, inheriting it by doing what we were supposed to be doing from the beginning of the foundation of the earth, which is follow God's laws, follow his customs, follow what he told us to do. That's what we're supposed to be doing. You know what I'm saying? So let's continue. Verse 35. For I was hungered, and ye gave me meat. I was thirsty, and ye gave me drink. I was a stranger, and ye took me in. Naked, and ye clothed me. I was sick, and ye visited me. I was in prison, and ye came unto me. Then shall the righteous answer. Now listen, the righteous, meaning the people who know. Now, when I was telling you how the king, everybody knew who the king was when he was saying. They knew who the king was. They knew the king was him. And this verse proves it. You know what I'm saying? Then shall the righteous answer him, saying, Lord, when saw we thee a hungered? Like they asking, like, yo, Christ, when did we see you hungry? You know what I'm saying? And fed thee. When did we feed thee? When did we see you thirsty and we gave you drink? When saw we thee a stranger? And that's another important thing. Because stranger can mean two things. These brothers knew who Christ was, so they never saw him as a stranger. Because they knew who he was. You know what I'm saying? They knew his lineage. They knew his background. They knew his pedigree. So the questions continue. You know what I'm saying? When saw we thee a stranger and took thee in, or naked and clothed thee? Or when saw we thee sick or in prison and came unto thee? So they asking Christ questions like you saying, like we understand you talking about yourself, but when did we see that? When did we see you do those things? You know what I'm saying? We never seen you hungry. We never seen you in prison. We never seen you thirsty. You know what I'm saying? So they were a little bit confused. You know what I'm saying? But let's continue. You know what I'm saying? And the king shall answer and say unto them, now this is what Christ's response was to them. Verily I say unto you, for sure, I'm saying this is guaranteed. Like, listen, for I say unto you, and as much as ye have done it unto one of the least of these, my brethren, what you have done unto each other. Like when you go and see, you know what I'm saying, your cousin in jail, when you go see that brother, you are seeing Christ. You are, because you're lifting that brother's spirit up. You never know what you coming to visit him could do. You know what I'm saying? That's why us in the Isupk have a whole program for prison where we go visit brothers in prison because of scriptures like this. We go try to help and lift up the spirit of brothers in prison, help and educate them. You know what I'm saying? We got brothers of rank in prison because our enemy is the devil. See, that's why going to prison is so important. Because Christ said, if you have done that to the least of these brethren, you have done it to me. But let's continue. And if you have any questions, just type them on in. You know what I'm saying? Well, I'm going to start again. Verse 40. And the king shall answer and say unto them, verily, I say unto you, inasmuch as ye have done it unto one of the least of my brethren, ye have done it to me. That's the bottom line. The righteous at the time didn't know what Christ was talking about, but let me tell you what he was talking about. Looking out for each other and all the deeds and righteous and loving acts you do to each other as brothers and sisters, you are doing it unto Christ, because that's what love is. That's what Christ was teaching us from the beginning. You see that brother locked down in jail, go fly him a kite. Go give him some good words, you know what I'm saying? Put a little something in his commissary. You know what I'm saying? You see a sister, you know what I'm saying, on the corner panhandling and drop a little change in a cup. You know what I'm saying? She might buy a little something to sip on. So what? Ain't your business. Whatever she buying her to sip on, you know what I'm saying, might get her through the night to another day. You know what I'm saying? That's what we don't think about. We tend to be a little bit selfish. And Christ don't want us to be selfish. Christ wants us to give our last and our all to our brothers and sisters. You know what I'm saying? But we're going to go on to the next verse. Let's go to John 13. Let me type it in real quick. John 13, let's start with 33. Did I type that in right? Yeah. I believe 34. And if you're a trooper or a young man in the school, this is important milk for you to receive. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to end up like these other cats out here, you know what I'm saying, thinking that you got a little bit of knowledge so you can do your own thing. No. Because doing your own thing will have you in Costa Rica somewhere, you know what I'm saying, mistreating your people. No, stay up in here. Get this milk, then earn that meat. You know what I'm saying? But let me get to that. John 13 and 33. All right, John chapter 13, verse 33. Little children, yet a little while I am with you. Ye shall seek me. And as I said unto the Jews, listen, that's important to know. He's talking to the Jews right now. He ain't talking to the whole world. This is a message unto blacks, Hispanics, and Native people. So I'm going to bring that back from the top again, verse 33. Little children, yet a little while am I with you. Because Christ knew the time was ticking. Ye shall seek me. There's going to be a time when you seek me. And as I said unto the Jews, whither I go, so wherever he went, he said this to the Jews, ye cannot come. So now I say unto you, a new commandment. Now this commandment is unto the Jews. He's telling the Jews this new commandment. He ain't telling everybody this new commandment. Because as we can see on the news, everybody don't even love each other. Everybody don't love each other. And that cuts the Christian doctrine that we all should love each other. No, because he's speaking unto the Jews and the Jews only. He ain't speaking unto everybody, but let's continue. A new commandment I give unto you, that ye love one another. Who should love one another? Who should love one another? The Jews should love one another. The Jews should love one another. As I have loved you, that ye also love one another. So we should love each other as Christ has loved us. That's the only way we can love one another. How did Christ love us? Type it in. How did Christ love us? It's a simple answer. How did Christ love us? Let me tell you how Christ loved us. Christ taught us. He fed us, clothed us, took care of us. You know what I'm saying? He counseled us through our problems. He gave his life for us. Most importantly, he gave his life for us. That's how we should love each other. We should teach each other, take care of each other, counsel each other through each other's problems. We should be willing to give our lives for one another. And once you get a bond like that, there's nothing stronger. No nation can overcome a nation like that. A nation where a soldier is willing to put his nation above himself. The majority of people in the American military are in there for their own greed and lust. They either want power or money or just to get out the hood. That's what they do in the American military. Pretty much, I'm pretty sure that's like that in every military. They're not in it. They're not in it for their people. They're not in it for their country. They say that, but they're not really in it for that. They're not. You know what I'm saying? Verse 35. By this shall all men know that ye are my disciples, if ye love one to another. That's how people know that ye are Christ's disciples. You know what I'm saying? Your Christian pastor out there says he's a disciple of Christ, he's a follower of Christ, but does he love his people as much as he loves himself? This pastor's telling old ladies to give up their rent money, to give up their electric money so he could get a new jet. He don't love Christ. He don't love his people, so he's not a disciple of Christ. Disciples of Christ will risk their lives for their people. And that's only being done in one place, and that's the Isupk. Only being done here. Because we're the only ones that follow Christ's laws to the T. And we're the only ones trying to give up our lives and our lusts and our desires for our people. What we want is secondary. We try to get what we want in between time and in the meantime. Like, no, the priority in our primary objective is the people. What I'm doing right now is primary. You know what I'm saying? But let's drop that. Let's get on. Let's get Matthew 5 and 21. Let's go back to Matthew. Matthew 5 and 21. Give y'all a couple seconds to get there. Couple seconds to get there. All right. Matthew chapter 5. Hold on, give me a second. I might want to go up. Yeah, let's go to Matthew 5 and 17. I want to hit on two because I want y'all to understand. There is no love without the law. And there's no law without love. You can't say you're following the law if you don't love your brothers and sisters. And guess what? If you're not following the law, there's only one thing left for you, and that's death. If you're not following God's laws, there's only one option, death. But let's continue. We're going to start with we'll start with 17. Think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophets. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill. Like Christ is letting you know. Because the Christian church will have you to believe that the laws of God is done away with. That's what they want you to believe. Not all Christians, most Christians, majority of Christians. Why do they want you to believe that the laws of God is done away with? Because they have a certain lust to fulfill. And if they are carrying on the stigma that they have to follow God's laws, they won't be able to fulfill their lust. So they will tell you that the law is done away with. But what Christ is telling you right now, that the law is not done away with. Christ is telling you that the law is here. He has not destroyed it. He has not done none of that. He has not destroyed what the prophet said. He has not destroyed the law. He is following it to a T himself. You know what I'm saying? But let's continue with that. Verse 17. Think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophets. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill. I mean, he come to follow the laws. He ain't come to destroy them. He ain't come to destroy what the prophet said. He come to follow what the prophet said. Verse 18. For verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass. Where are we at right now? What are your feet connected to? Your feet's connected to the ground. Your feet connected to this earth. So the earth has not passed. So since the earth has not passed, guess what? Not one jot or one tittle in no wise from the law till all be fulfilled. You know what I'm saying? Not one jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law. Everything about the law is still here. And that's a good thing. You should be happy about that. The Christian church ain't happy about that because they can't touch little kids. The Christian church is not happy about that at all. But us as Black, Hispanics, and Natives, man, we should be happy about that. You know why we should be happy about that? Because we still have a chance to love each other. You know what I'm saying? But let's continue. Verse 19. Whosoever therefore shall break one of these least commandments and teach men so, he shall be least in the kingdom of heaven. Who's telling men to break it? When you tell a man that the law no longer exists, you're telling men to break that law. And that's not brotherhood. You're putting brothers and sisters directly into the path of the Most High's rage. You're putting brothers and sisters directly into the path of the Most High's anger. Why would you want to do that? Why would you want to do that? For your own lust and greed? So you can have your church packed up with people because they hearing the sweet words that come out your mouth? Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. That is a problem. You know what I'm saying? That is a liability to your people. You know what I'm saying? You can't be how may I say it? You can't be telling them that God's laws are done away with for your own benefit. Because the scripture blatantly says that the law is still here. Not one jot and one tittle shall pass to the earth, and heaven is gone. Not just the earth, heaven is gone. You know what I'm saying? Dwell with me one sec. Bear with me one sec. You know what I'm saying? Not one jot and one tittle shall pass. Well, let's continue. Any man that teaches a man to not follow the law, guess what? He's going to be least in the kingdom of heaven. He's going to be small. He's going to be tiny. He ain't going to have no worth and no value. Will he get in? Well, may all Israel get in. Because only people who shall be teaching the law should be Israelites anyway. And if they're not teaching it, that's because they're Israelites. No heathen has the right to teach or not to teach. The law has nothing to do with them. You know what I'm saying? They get no punishment when it comes to that. But us as Israelites, when we understand and we know the law, we have an obligation to teach it. You know what I'm saying? But let's continue. Let's continue. But whosoever shall do and teach them, the same shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven. Any man that follows the laws of God and teaches the laws of God, they shall be called great in the kingdom. There's only one group that does that. That's the Isupk. You know what I'm saying? But let's continue. For I say unto you, that except your righteousness shall exceed the righteousness of the scribes and Pharisees, ye shall in no case enter into the kingdom of heaven. What does that mean? The scribes and Pharisees talked a good game. They knew the law. They knew the law. You know what I'm saying? Did they, quite frankly, practice it? No, not all the time. They picked and choose. But guess what? They weren't perfect. But for you to get to heaven, you got to be perfect. How do you be perfect? By following the law, statutes, and commandments. The scribes, our righteousness got to surpass the scribes and the Pharisees. Scribes and Pharisees knew the law. You know what I'm saying? And they were willing to persecute anybody who did not follow the law to the way that they were taught and the way they believe it should be followed. We got to do that and go further. You know what I'm saying? We got to be willing to follow the law as Christ has shown us to follow the law. You know what I'm saying? But verse 21, ye have heard it that it was said by them of old time. So this is nothing new. You have heard it was said by them of old time. You have heard it from back in the Old Testament. You have heard, this is, you know what I'm saying, prophetic words that was passed down from generation to generation. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these chemicals don't understand that we had a verbal, you know what I'm saying, history. You know what I'm saying? We taught each other verbally, you know what I'm saying, of our ancestral lineage and all that. We didn't necessarily write all the details down, but the things we did is kept in our records, you know what I'm saying? But let's continue. Thou shalt not kill. We heard from the beginning, you shall not kill. You know what I'm saying? This is nothing new. You know what I'm saying? And whosoever shall kill shall be in danger of the judgment, because there's a judgment behind it. You know what I'm saying? We heard we should not kill, and whoever should do it, there's a judgment behind it, right? But I say unto you that whoever isn't angry with his brothers, and Christ is going to take it a little further. You know, if you kill somebody, you're going to be in danger of judgment. But Christ is taking it further. But I say unto you, whosoever is angry with his brother without a cause, you are angry with your brother without a cause, shall be in danger of the judgment. So just being angry with your brother without a cause is equated to killing somebody. Because you don't know where that anger is going to go. You don't know where it's going to take you. You have no idea, absolutely no idea where that's going to lead. But it's letting you know. And whosoever shall say to his brother Rakah is like a disrespectful term. You just completely just, what's the word? Rakah is like saying he ain't, like the most disrespectful way you can think of saying that he is nothing. He is less than nothing. He is like, he has no importance. He has no value. You know what I'm saying? That's what Rakah is. But let's bring that back. And whosoever shall say to his brother Rakah shall be in danger of the council. But whosoever shall say, thou fool, shall be in danger of hellfire. So, like, you call your brother less than nothing, well, you're in danger of the council. But if you call your brother a fool, not in a joking manner, because I know blacks and Hispanics like to call each other fools in a joking manner. But no, on a serious manner, saying this brother knows nothing, he's an idiot, he can't learn, he can't improve, there's no hope for him. Well, you are in danger of hellfire. You're going to go through it. You are in the crosshairs of the Most High. That's the best way to put it. You are directly in the crosshairs of the Most High. That's what happens. You know what I'm saying? When you say that to your brother. You know what I'm saying? But let's drop that. Let's get on. Where should we go? Luke? Let's go to Luke. Luke 6:31. Bear with me one sec. Okay, let me get there with y'all. Luke chapter 6, verse 31. Should I go up higher? I'll stick with 31. Let's keep it simple, straight to the point. Luke chapter 6, verse 31. And as ye would that men should do to you, do ye also to them likewise. This is an old ancient secret that black people been teaching each other from the beginning of time. Your grandma told you this, your grandma told your mother this, your mama told you this, you know what I'm saying? Your grandma learned it from her mother and her grandma. You know what I'm saying? This is something that has been passed down from generation to generation. Your fathers, your uncles. It's an old, let me summarize it. Just treat people how you want to be treated. That's all it means. Treat people how you want to be treated. Do you want a brother selling your mama drugs, selling your kids drugs? No, you don't. So how you look selling them other brothers and sisters, mothers, drugs? You don't want it done to you. You don't even want it done to you. So how you look doing it? Do you want a man sleeping with your woman? Then how you look sleeping with another man's woman? Do you want other men looking at your daughter while she's stripping on a stripper pole? Or she on her OnlyFans tearing off her clothes for a couple of bucks? Do you want men paying to see that? Then why would you pay to see it? You know why? Because your lusts and your desires outweigh your love for your people. It outweighs your love and your desire for your people. It outweighs you wanting to get out of this oppression that Black and Hispanics and natives are in. You know what I'm saying? You would rather be high than ruling. I don't know what's like, why? Like, rulership, taking over this planet it sounds good to me. You might not hear it, but it sounds good to me. Taking over this planet is possibly the best thing I ever heard. Why wouldn't you want to do that? Why would you rather be here in this hell that we are in than rule? You'd rather be high in hell than sober in rulership. You'd rather be sleeping with another man's woman here than having 5, 6 wives in rulership. You'd rather be, I don't know, our minds are warped. Our minds are warped. I could continue going on and on and on. You know what I'm saying? You'd rather be here eating crab, pork, shrimp, and lobster than having a feast of the deaths of our enemies in rulership. That's what I want to see. That's what I want to see. You know what I'm saying? So as you would like men should do to you, do ye also to them likewise. You don't want a brother sleeping with your woman. Don't sleep with other brothers' women. It's just that simple. It's something that we learned in elementary. When did we lose our way? Well, when we had desires and lusts. That's when we lost our way. When we started listening to songs that was trying to teach us that it's better for her to be with us, listening to songs that was teaching women that it's better for her to be with me than with her man. That's borderline homosexual. You know what I'm saying? That's definitely not right. But we're gonna continue on. We're gonna drop that loop joint. We're gonna go John 15 and 12. I think I'm going to like 14. John chapter 15, verse 12. Let me see if I should go up further. Yeah, I'm going to go up a bit higher. Hold on. Let's start with 9. Start with 9. We're going to start with verse 9, all right? As the Father hath loved me, so have I loved you. Continue ye in my love. What is that saying? The way God loved Christ is the way Christ loved us, which is the way that we should be loving each other. The way God loved Christ is the way Christ loved us. How have Christ loved us? We asked this question a few times. You know what I'm saying? That's what we should be willing to do for each other. And that's just the love of God to the T. following God's laws. Christ loved us by following God's laws. That's why he was willing to give his life up for it, because God told him to. You know what I'm saying? That is brotherhood on another level. You know what I'm saying? But let's continue. If ye keep my commandments, ye shall abide in my love. Like, yo, Christ is telling, yo, if y'all follow what I'm telling y'all follow my loves, you shall abide in my love. I will continue to love you. It's very simple. If you do what I say, I will continue to love you. See, this thing about unconditional love is a figment of people's imagination. All love comes with conditions. Every bit of love comes with conditions. Parents may think they love their kids unconditionally, but they don't. There's something that your kids could do that will make you just say, I'm done with that child. And only you know what it is. So I ain't going to give all examples. You know what your child could do that will make you wipe your hands over. You know what it is. And that's only what a good parent would do. Because maybe the world will put them through a certain amount of cruelty that they'll learn that they were in the wrong. And they'll come back to you as a child should. So sometimes you got to just dust your hands on. No love is unconditional. All love comes with conditions. And Christ is telling his brothers that his love comes with a condition. That's if they abide in his commandments. Let's read that again. Verse 10. If ye keep my commandments, ye shall abide in my love. So if you don't keep the commandments, well, you're no longer abiding in his love. As I have kept my Father's commandments, because even God's commandments, as we already know, God's commandments is what keeps us in his love. So that means his love, God's love, is conditional. Even God's love isn't unconditional, because unconditional love is a figment of a child's imagination. My parent loves me no matter what. No. Nobody loves anybody no matter what. One child end up molesting and raping the other. You're going to cut off one. You ain't going to love them both. It's impossible. It's impossible. Unconditional love is a figment of our imagination. So let's continue. Let's start that from the top. If ye keep my commandments, ye shall abide in my love, even as I have kept my Father's commandments and abide in his love. These things have I spoken unto you, that my joy might remain in you, and that your joy might be full. Because loving each other is in the law. You follow this laws, you are nothing but happy. You feel nothing but secure. And once you stop following those laws, statutes, commandments, you're in the world of hell. You know what I'm saying? Let's continue. Now, this is Christ's commandment that he wants us to abide in. This is the commandment right here. And this commandment is not new at all, but this is the commandment right here. Let's continue. This is my commandment, that ye love one another as I have loved you, which is how God loved him. That's Christ's commandment right there. Greater love hath no man than this. There's no greater love than this. This is how Christ wants us to love each other as he hath loved us. And there's no greater love than this. That a man laid down his life for his friend. If you ain't willing to lay down your life for your brothers and your sisters, you ain't willing to sacrifice every desire and need that you have, you're just a selfish. No, I want to keep mine. You're just a selfish bastard. You're selfish. Your desires and your love, you can't even follow a simple law that Christ gave, which is to follow the laws of God and love each other. because Christ followed all of God's laws. So we got to love each other as Christ has loved us. Abide in his laws like he abided in God's laws, which is for us to abide in God's laws too. A plus B equals C. But let's continue. Ye are my friends if ye do whatsoever I command you. You are Christ's friends if you do what he commands you. What did he command us? And that is to love each other as he has loved us. A lot of these women out here like to say they married to Christ. I'm married to Christ, but you ain't following Christ's laws. And Christ's law was simply to love each other, not to be some fake righteous person acting like Christ. And Christ don't. No, Christ has no need for you. We all are filthy rags out here. You know what I'm saying? We all are filthy rags. Well, let's drop that. Let's get on Matthews 18 and 20. Because if you love each other, whatever pitiful gripes you got with each other, because in the whole grand scheme of things, whatever problem you got with somebody is really nothing. In the whole grand scheme of things. The whole grand scheme of things, whatever problem you got with somebody is really just childish, emotional stuff. It's not good to hold anger, and especially if you ain't dealt with it right then and there. If you ain't dealt with it right then and there, you should be dusting your hands off with it. Because if you got a problem with a brother, this scripture is going to tell you how you're supposed to deal with it. You know what I'm saying? If you got a problem with a brother, there's a certain way that you're supposed to deal with it. You ain't supposed to be, you know what I'm saying, all extra emotional and gossiping and spreading rumors and talking behind a brother's back. No, there's a certain way to deal with it, and this scripture teaches you how to deal with it. You know what I'm saying? Matthew 18 and 21. Then came Peter to him. So Peter's coming up to Christ and said, Lord, how oft shall my brother sin against me? So Peter's asking Christ, how often shall I put up with some BS that my brother's doing to me? How much should I deal with it? How much, you know what I'm saying, should I, you know what I'm saying, not, you know what I'm saying, attack a brother or seek revenge or whatever? How often should I deal with this? All right. And so Peter's like, how often shall my brother sin against me and I forgive him? Till 7 times. So Peter's like, should I do like what? What's a good number? Like 7? Should a brother keep on messing with me and the good number be like 7? Because 7 seems like a lot of times for somebody to keep on doing the same stuff to you. A brother robs you 7 times, most likely you ready to go to war. And he only took $1 each time, and you ready to go to war for those $7. But Peter asked a legitimate question: how many times shall I forgive my brother? And Jesus saith unto him, I say not unto thee until 7 times, but until 70 times 7. So that's how many times we should be forgiving our brother. 70 times 7. We should be giving our brother 70 times 7. You know what I'm saying? Not just 1 or 2 times. Nope. Can you imagine somebody sinning against you 70 times 7? If y'all nuts enough to do the math, go ahead. I wouldn't do it. I just know it's a lot. And I know it's something that I can't imagine somebody doing it to me that many times. But guess what? I know I got to forgive them that many times. I know I got to forgive my brother that many times, but there's a system in which we supposed to deal with that. You know what I'm saying? There's a system where a brother sins against us that many times and we ain't deal with it instantly. You know what I'm saying? There's a way that we're supposed to, you know what I'm saying, according to the scriptures, focus on such an event. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to go to Matthew 18 and 15. That's a few verses up. There's a few verses up. Okay. People, it says Matthew chapter 18, verse 15. Moreover, if thy brother shall trespass against thee, go and tell him his fault between thee and him alone. That means you have a one-on-one conversation with the brother. It's just that simple. You have a one-on-one. You go to that brother and that brother alone. You know what I'm saying? You go to him and tell him you're right. You know what I'm saying? What his fault is, what he has done to you. And if he shall hear thee, thou hast gained the brother. What does it mean if he shall hear you? If he apologizes right then and there, he shall hear you. But if he puts up any other thing other than that, anything outside of an apology, guess what? He didn't hear you. He did not hear you. So the conversation should get dead. And then there's another step to take. You know what I'm saying? You go to that brother alone, and there's a whole nother step to take after that. You know what I'm saying? Let's continue. But if he will not hear thee, if he's not hearing what you're saying, you come up to him and be like, look, bro, you know what I'm saying? I seen you come to class and you smelling like weed, man, and it was triggering me. Now I want to smoke. Like, you know what I'm saying? You shouldn't be coming to class like that. You got to fight your demons. He be like, man, F that, man. I don't hear what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. I never, you know what I'm saying? You start giving a whole bunch of huss and fuss. But guess what? There's a step to take. You know what I'm saying? But if he will not hear thee, then take with thee one or two more, that in the mouth of two or three witnesses, every word may be established. So you have two other witnesses. You have two other witnesses. Most likely they were there. They probably smoked the weed too. If they didn't smoke, they'd be like, look, brother, you know what I'm saying? They hearing, the conversation. You know what I'm saying? Then a judgment will be made. You know what I'm saying? Or some advice will be given to both parties on how to proceed. But guess what? If no agreement is made and nobody sees the other person's side, then what happens? Verse 17. And if he shall neglect to hear them, he not hearing the witnesses, tell it unto the church, bigger council. It's what we call major council. You know what I'm saying? There's ways to deal with arts in here that it don't have to get violent. You got to talk it out with your brothers. You know what I'm saying? Why do you think Passovers in the ISUPK are so successful? Why do you think our cookouts and everything? So, because we deal with everything instantly, and we take these steps. We go to the brother. We bring the witnesses. Then we go in front of the generals and the whole congregation. And it's talked out. Well, let's say if he don't hear you, but let me finish this verse. And if he shall neglect to hear them, tell it to the church. But if he neglect to hear the church, let him be unto thee as a heathen man and a Republican. That means you could, dust your hands of that brother. You don't have to deal with that brother no more. Let him be unto you as a heathen and a publican, man. Avoid him at all costs, man. So no more fury can burn. Most likely somebody getting kicked out the congregation anyway. Somebody getting kicked out. Somebody getting exiled because fury can still boil up. There's ways that we deal with things in Israel. You know what I'm saying? There's ways that we deal with it so that nothing else could boil over. So that's what you're supposed to do when you're having issues with another brother or sister. You go to that person alone, you talk it out. If they don't hear it, then you bring witnesses. If you still don't hear it, bring it to the church. If you still don't hear it, deuces. Chuck the deuces. They don't always have to hear it, man. You did your due diligence. You did what was right in the Most High's eyes. You try to maintain the brotherhood. The brotherhood can't be maintained over somebody's selfishness. So be it. But let's continue. Verily, I say unto you, whosoever ye shall bind. Oh, so that's going into something else. But let's drop that. Let's get on to Mark. Mark 12. Trying to keep it milky for y'all. If y'all got any questions, just ask them. Any questions? Oh, wrong button. Let's go to Mark 12. Mark 12 and verse 38. And he said unto them in his doctrine, beware of the scribes, which love to go in long clothing and love salutations in the marketplace. So basically, don't do what the scribes and the Pharisees do. In fact, I dropped down too low. I was in 30. I was supposed to be in 28. But that actually hits point. You know what I'm saying? That actually hits point because a lot of cats be out there showing fake love. They be out there showing fake love. I was supposed to go to 28, not 38. And one of the scribes came and having heard them reasoning together. So there was a scribe overhearing Christ and the disciples chit-chat, right? And perceiving that he had answered them well. So he perceiving that Christ did a good job answering. Asked him, which is the first commandment of all? So he's asking on Christ, what is the first commandment of all? What is the first commandment of all? And Jesus answered him, the first of all the commandments is, hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord. So that's very important to understand right there. You can't love God and you love him and you out there chasing the bag. You can't love God and you out there, you know what I'm saying, sleeping with every, person you can find. You can't love God if you're a drug addict. You can't love God. There's many ways you can't love God. There's only one way to love God, and that's to follow his law, statutes, and commandments. You can't love God as a Christian praying to some white God. You can't love God as a Muslim praying to some rock up in Mecca. You can't do that. You can't do that at all. It's important for you to know that our God, our Lord, is one. You know what I'm saying? Just one. There's only one God. You know what I'm saying? Let's continue. My bad. And thou shalt love thy God with thy and thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy mind, and with all thy strength. This is the first commandment. So that's the first commandment, that our God is one and we should love him. We should love our God with everything that we got. Follow his law, statutes, commandments to the T. You know what I'm saying? Where do you think the saying no cowards come from? You know what I'm saying? That we should put our love into that. Anything outside of that is cowardice. You don't love God. You don't love your people. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what following the laws is. Loving your people. You know what I'm saying? But let's continue. Verse 31. And the second is like. I mean, the second one is similar. But namely this. But it's more focused on this. Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. You know why? We already read it earlier. Loving God is loving your brothers. It's just that simple. There is none other commandment greater than these. There's no other commandment greater than these, man. No other commandment greater than that. And the scribes' response was fire too. Peep it. And the scribe said unto him, well, master, thou hast said the truth. Guess what? Loving each other. A lot of y'all think y'all in the truth because y'all know y'all Israelites. Y'all think y'all in the truth because Y'all got a shield of David, or y'all so-called woke. Nah, being the truth is loving one another and following God's laws. That's what being the truth is. You know what I'm saying? For there is one God and there is none other but He. You know what I'm saying? Y'all should continue reading that. But there's only one God, and loving Him is loving each other. And that is the truth. Anything outside of being in this one body of the Isupk is not the truth. There's a reason why we say we are the home of the truth. And nobody has been able to prove us wrong with it yet. Because the simple fact is, we follow God's law, statutes, and commandments. We follow God's law, statutes, and commandments. You know what I'm saying? Nobody else does it better than we do. And we are out there just trying to teach y'all to do the same. You know what I'm saying? But let's drop that. Let's get to Hebrews 13. Oops, wrong button. Hebrews 13. Let's start with the first verse. Let's start with the first verse. I'm probably go quite a bit. I'll probably go down to like 9 or 10 verses. All right. Hebrews is in the New Testament. All right. Hebrews chapter 13, verse 1. Let brotherly love continue. That's how it starts off. So that's what you know what this joint is about. This whole chapter is about brotherly love. Let brotherly love continue. What's more beautiful than that? You know what I'm saying? Nothing more beautiful when brothers come together in unity. You know what I'm saying? What's more beautiful than the Passover, than these cookouts, than these high holy days, than these camps when we're amongst each other? There's nothing more beautiful than that. I can tell you right now, that's when I'm at most peace. When I'm amongst my brothers. You know what I'm saying? Verse 2, be not forgetful to entertain strangers, for thereby have some entertain angels unaware. See, that's another way to concrete us, because you know some people seem to forget, like they want to be high-minded to their brothers. They want to think they're better than their brothers and sisters for whatever reason they may think. You know what I'm saying? I know there was people who thought they were better than me just because off their last name alone. Now, they don't know if I was an angel. If they knew I was an angel, they'd probably treat me much better. But the problem is, you should treat all your brothers and sisters as if they're angels. Because you never know when you're entertaining angels unaware. You never know. Like when those angels were in Sodom and Gomorrah, the people outside did not know that they were angels. They thought they were just regular men, and they were trying to rape them. You never know when you're entertaining angels. You never know who you're talking to. So basically, just watch your mouth. Be careful how you speak to one another. Consider each other's feelings before you start running off at the mouth. You know what I'm saying? That's important. Because you never know when you're entertaining angels unaware. That's called brotherhood. But let's continue. Verse 3. Remember them that are in bonds as bound with them, and them which suffer adversity as being yourself also in the body. Like, none of us is greater than our people. Like, when you got a brother in jail, you're in jail too. You never know how it may have, like, put it like this. I'm going off on a tangent real quick, but no, let me bring it back. If one of us is in jail, we all in jail. If one of us is in shackles, we're all in shackles. If one of us is oppressed, we're all oppressed. I know there's some of us that think because we got millions and billions of dollars that we're not all in the same situation, but guess what? We really are. We're going through the same hell as the other. We're not better because we got a few dollars, because you got a good job, because you got a white woman. You think you're better than every black man and woman out there? No. Bottom line is you're still in, you're still in there. I ain't trying to get this page, folded, but you're still no different from the rest of us. And they will still see you as no different from the rest of us. They will still see you as a criminal, as a thug, worthless. They'll still treat you as such. They will still treat you as such. Verse 4. No, let's drop down a bit. No, let's end it there. Let's end that there. No, let's go to verse 8. I'm sorry, I don't know where this gas came from. I don't drink in this water. Eight. Jesus Christ the same yesterday and today and forever. That's what you need to understand. None of this is changing for your wants and desires. Christ said he ain't do away with the law. Guess what? The law's still here. Christ told us to love one another as he has loved us. Guess what? That still is valid. Christ ain't changing. Know why Christ ain't changing? Because his Father don't change. God don't change. And guess what? When you stand 10 toes on this, you shouldn't be changing either. None should be able to move you. None should swerve you unless you did not fall, unless you were never in this from the beginning. Unless you were never in this from the beginning. But if you're in this, you shouldn't change. Because Christ ain't changing. And God ain't changing. So you should be in this from the beginning. And know what? That's just brotherhood. I ain't going to sleep with another man's woman. Guess what? You know why? Because I love my brothers and I would never change on that. I ain't going to sell my brothers and sisters drugs because I love my brothers and sisters and I ain't going to change on that. You know what I'm saying? So Christ is the same. He ain't changing. Guess what? Nor should you. Especially if you follow these law, statute, commandments. If you're not following these law, statute, commandments, guess what? You got all the room to change and you better do it soon. You better do it ASAP because time is ticking. Time is ticking. This world's about to shake. It's whether you want to shake with it or you want to be the ones on the outside watching it shake. I'm trying to be on the outside watching it shake. That's my goal. You know what I'm saying? But let's drop that. Let's get to another jump. 1 Peter 2:17. First Peter 2:17. If you're there, hold on, give me a second to catch up. First Peter chapter 2, verse 17. Honor all men, love the brotherhood, fear God, honor the king. It's just that simple. Honor all men, give every man their proper respect. Don't think that you're better than another brother. Give them their proper respect. Honor all men. You know what I'm saying? Because you see a brother down and out, you know what I'm saying, shaking a can in front of McDonald's, man. Don't treat him like he's nothing. Have a conversation with him. You know what I'm saying? Buy him a little something to eat. You know what I'm saying? Teach him a little something. Try to make his day go a little better. Instead of putting him down, talking about get a job or something. You know what I'm saying? Like Charles Barkley. I don't know if y'all seen this interview, but Charles Barkley on Oprah. Charles Barkley and Michael Jordan was on Oprah. I don't know how old this interview was, but she was talking about Michael Jordan, you know what I'm saying, how professional and clean he looks. And Charles Barkley was like, he don't know why. He's the cheapest man he knows. You know what I'm saying? And he went on to go on and talk about how Michael Jordan was so cheap that he was about to put change in a homeless man's cup. And Michael Jordan stopped him from doing that and said, if he could ask for change, he could say, welcome to McDonald's, and I take your order. Like, that is hateful. That is hateful. You don't know what that brother went through. But you want to stop that brother from eating because he ain't willing to subjugate himself to McDonald's. You don't even know. You probably even tried to do that and just couldn't. You don't even know that. You don't even know what that brother tried. But you want to put him down over it. That's the type of attitude we got to get out. We got to honor all men. You know what I'm saying? Honor all men, because that's how you love the brotherhood. Love being around each other. Love being around each other, because there's nothing better than being around each other. I can tell you that right now. Love the brotherhood. Not just being around each other, you know what I'm saying? Brotherhood goes more than being around each other. Brotherhood goes into following law, because whatever move you make affects the brotherhood. And if you love the brotherhood, you won't make moves that will affect the brotherhood in a negative manner. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's brothers that come and go. We all know that. But just your going could affect the brotherhood in a negative manner. You could get a brother that's not as strong as you to fall out right along with you because you were selfish. Because you didn't love the brotherhood. And I love this brotherhood. I honor all men. You know what I'm saying? And what's the last part? Honor the king. Man, respect our king, man. Because you're not doing the rest of that, you're not respecting our king. You don't respect Christ. You don't love God. You don't love Christ. You don't love God. All you do is love yourself and your own desires and your own lusts. That's all you do. Let's drop that. Let's get the song. Let's go to the old classic. Let's go to the Old Testament. This one's very similar to what we just read. Give me a second to get there. All right, you there? Psalms 133:1. Behold, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. There's nothing better than that. If you was at the Passover, you understand how that works. You've been to any UPK event, you understand how that works. You've been to camp at the UPK, you understand how that works. You know what I'm saying? You've been around a UPK brother, you understand how good it feels and how pleasant it is to be around your brother and to dwell with each other in unity, like-minded. Nothing's better. Nothing is better. Nothing possibly is better. I can tell you right now, this Passover, I had nothing but a good time. Shout out to those brothers in Florida. You know what I'm saying? They held it down real nice, man. Florida is like my second home, and I can tell you right now, man, that place they held it down. They held it down. We had a shout out to them brothers that graduated Hebrew Academy too, class of 2022, man, coming through the smoke, through the fire, looking out for one another. That is some powerful stuff right there, man. And that's what it is right there. Them brothers held it down for each other, real strong like. And there's no better feeling than that, man. Even when you're dwelling with each other in adversity, you're with each other, and that still feels good. That's what those brothers in Hebrew Academy did. They dwelt with each other in adversity, and it still felt good because they were in like-minded. They were in unity in adversity with each other. And they coming out shining with their new jackets coming through the smoke. You know what I'm saying? Yo, it was glorious, man. It was glorious. But let's drop that. Let's go to the last verse. Let's go to 1 John 2:9. Go to 1 John 2:9. This is the last verse. If y'all have any questions, y'all can type them on in. Any questions, type them on in. Should I go up above that? Start with Start with 7. Start with verse 7. Actually, let me retype it so you. All right, 1 John chapter 2, verse 7. Brethren, I write no new commandment unto you. Keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. But an old commandment which ye have heard from the beginning. Now, this is something that's always been around. There's nothing new about what he's about to say, even though it may sound new to you. It may sound a little different in your ear, but this is nothing new. This is what it's supposed to be from the beginning. The old commandment is the word which ye have heard from the beginning. Like this is like an old commandment, and ye have heard it from the beginning of time. This is what it's about. You know what I'm saying? From when Adam had to take a woman from his rib. When Adam had to take a woman that's bone of his bone, flesh of his flesh, that is love. That is brotherhood. You know what I'm saying? He had to take a woman of his people. And that's been it from the beginning. That's love from the beginning. You know what I'm saying? Again, a new commandment I write unto you. Like I said, remember, I write no new commandment, but again, a new commandment I write unto you because y'all ain't going to fully understand it. This is nothing new, but it may sound new to you, right? Which thing is true in him and in you. Like this is true in him and in you, because darkness is past and the true light now shineth. He that saith he is the light and hateth his brother, but a lot of cats like to say he is the light, but you hate your brother. Now, if you are the light, this new commandment of loving each other will be in you. But you hate your brother, so this light is not in you. You know what I'm saying? He that saith he is the light and hateth his brother is in darkness even until now. Verse 10, he that loveth his brother abideth in light, and there is none occasion of stumbling in him. But he that hateth his brother is in darkness, and walketh in darkness, and knoweth not whither he goeth, because the darkness hath blinded his eyes. It's nothing but death. If you don't love your people, it's nothing but death. It's nothing but problems, man. You're blind. You can't love your people and love God while you hating your brother. You know what I'm saying? While you sleeping with your brother's woman, while you committing all types of atrocities towards your people. by not following these laws, statutes, and commandments. And with that, I'm going to end the class. You know what I'm saying? This is the Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge under Commander General Yohana. Started out at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. And we have classes every Tuesday and Wednesday. You know what I'm saying? If you want to be a trooper in the school, get an all black shirt, black pants. You know what I'm saying? Get your attendance in, sign into the attendance. And with that, shalom.